Vets at major teaching hospitals quietly recommend specific human foods to their clients, and they almost never say it out loud in the exam room, because there's no bottle to sell and no invoice to write for a 50-cent ingredient that does what a $40 prescription diet claims to. Here's the biology behind why this even works. Cats are obligate carnivores, which means their entire digestive system, their enzyme production, even how efficiently they convert nutrients, is built around animal-based nutrition, not the plant fillers that dominate a lot of commercial cat food. That gap between what cats are designed to eat and what's actually in the bag is exactly where these 8 foods step in. Veterinary nutrition researchers, including teams at Tufts University's Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine, have pointed to specific nutritional gaps in commercial diets for years. The 8 foods coming up are the ones that consistently close those gaps. Food 1, pumpkin. There's a food so unglamorous most owners scroll right past it at the store, and that's the exact reason it keeps getting overlooked by people spending hundreds at the vet for a problem this food solves for under $1. Plain canned pumpkin, nothing else on the label, is loaded with soluble fibre. And that fibre does something most owners don't expect. It firms up loose stools and softens hard ones at the same time, because it works by regulating water absorption in the gut, rather than pushing in one direction. Tufts researchers have specifically flagged fibre as one of the most chronically underprovided nutrients in modern cat diets, which is part of why this works as well as it does. The one thing to watch is the can itself. Pie filling and seasoned pumpkin often contains spices and sugar that undo the benefit entirely. 1 teaspoon mixed into food daily for smaller cats, up to 2 teaspoons for larger breeds, is the actual amount vets tend to suggest. Food 2. Salmon. If your cat goes feral at the sound of a can opener, their instinct already knows something most owners never connect to biology. Plain cooked salmon delivers omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DAR, in a form cats can absorb and use immediately, unlike plant-based omega sources that require a conversion process cats aren't efficient at. These fatty acids reduce inflammation throughout the body and visibly improve coat texture within weeks, which is why older cats with early joint stiffness tend to show the clearest results. The line that can't be crossed here is cooking it fully. Raw salmon can carry a parasite that's harmless to humans but genuinely dangerous to cats. So steamed or baked, plain, no seasoning, bones fully removed, is non-negotiable. 1 to 2 small pieces, 2 to 3 times a week, is the amount that shows results without overdoing the fat content. Food 3, egg. This next one breaks a rule almost every cat owner has heard their whole life. Because eggs sound like they shouldn't be on this list at all, and yet veterinary nutritionists actually use eggs as the benchmark for measuring protein quality in pet food formulas. A single egg contains every essential amino acid a cat's body needs and can't produce on its own, plus biotin, which works directly on skin and coat health. The part that decides whether this helps or backfires is cooking. Raw egg whites contain a compound that blocks biotin absorption entirely, on top of carrying salmonella risk, so it has to be fully scrambled or boiled, no butter, no salt. 1 egg, prepared plain, 2 to 3 times a week, is the actual protocol. Food 4, bone broth. Here's the one nobody thinks to keep in the fridge until the day their cat refuses to eat after getting sick, and by then it's too late to be learning about it for the first time. Bone broth, simmered plain with no onion or garlic since both are toxic to cats, is rich in collagen and glycine, compounds that support joint cartilage and help repair a gut lining that's been worn down by stress, illness, or poor diet. It solves something else most owners never think about too. Cats have a famously weak thirst drive, and bone broth sneaks in extra hydration that a water bowl alone often can't. The only real rule is patience. It has to be fully cooled and completely unsalted before it ever touches a bowl. 2 to 4 tablespoons daily, served at room temperature, is what vets tend to recommend for senior or recovering cats specifically. Food 5, oats. And this next one is going to sound less like medicine and more like leftovers, which is exactly why almost nobody considers it, even though it's been used quietly by vets managing overweight cats for years. Plain cooked oats provide a slow, steady form of fibre that creates real fullness, without adding the empty calories that dry kibble fillers tend to pack in, which makes it one of the few tools that helps manage weight in a food-motivated cat without leaving them constantly hungry. It's not powerful enough to work alone, but paired with proper portions, the difference compounds over weeks. No milk, no sugar, no flavouring, just plain cooked oats in small amounts mixed into food a few times a week is all it takes. Food 6, plain Greek yogurt. This one contradicts almost everything cat owners have been told their whole lives, because dairy and cats are supposed to be a disaster together, and for regular milk, that's mostly true. Plain Greek yogurt is different. During fermentation, the live bacterial cultures break down most of the lactose, which leaves behind a food most cats can actually tolerate, packed instead with live probiotic strains that work directly on gut health. A large portion of a cat's immune system operates out of the gut, so when that bacterial balance gets disrupted by stress, illness, or antibiotics, it shows up everywhere. Skin issues, digestive upset, low energy. Researchers at institutions like the Cornell Feline Health Center have pointed to probiotic support as one of the more evidence-backed natural tools for feline digestive and immune health. The label matters more than usual here. Plain only, no fruit, no added sugar, no artificial sweeteners, since some of those are genuinely toxic to cats. 1 teaspoon mixed into food daily is the actual amount. Food 7, blueberries. Here's one almost nobody considers, because it sounds like a human snack, not cat nutrition, and that disconnect is exactly why it gets skipped over. Blueberries carry a dense concentration of anthocyanins, compounds that fight cellular damage from free radicals, the same kind of damage that quietly speeds up aging and wears down immune function over time. For older cats who seem a little less responsive or a little more prone to getting sick, this kind of antioxidant support adds up over weeks, not days. The only real caution is portion size. Blueberries still carry natural sugar, so this stays a small addition, not a regular snack pile. 2 to 3 blueberries daily, washed and lightly mashed, mixed into food, is the entire protocol. Food 8, turmeric. If bone broth helps rebuild a joint from the inside, this last one works on the pain itself. Turmeric contains curcumin, a compound studied extensively for its anti-inflammatory effects, and in cats dealing with stiffness or early arthritis, that matters in a very specific way, by interrupting the inflammatory pathways causing the swelling rather than just masking discomfort. The part most people get wrong, and it changes whether this works at all, is that curcumin on its own is poorly absorbed by the body. It has to be paired with a tiny pinch of black pepper, since a compound in pepper dramatically increases how much curcumin the body actually absorbs. Skip that pairing, and the turmeric does almost nothing. A tiny amount, well under a quarter teaspoon, mixed with the smallest pinch of black pepper into food daily, is the actual dose, and this is one to start slow with. None of these 8 foods are meant to replace what's already in the bowl. They're meant to fill specific gaps that commercial food consistently misses. Fibre, omega-3s, complete protein, hydration, gut health, antioxidant support, joint relief, and sustainable fullness. Get the amounts wrong and even a safe food causes problems, that part matters just as much as the food itself. Get it right, in small consistent amounts, and these are the same things that quietly separate a cat that's just getting by from one that's actually thriving. So tell me honestly, which one of these is already sitting in your kitchen right now without you ever realizing what it could be doing for your cat?